Hello, my name is Luis from Portfolio Webs, and I'm also an official Tape partner. And let me ask you a quick question. In Tape, have you ever had the need to create a landing page or display like a web page? Because right now, Tape has an option that is called display a message on a web page. It's part of the automations. And in here, you can create decent looking landing pages. But the editor is kind of clunky and it takes considerable amount of effort to make this. As you can see here in the source code, this code is basically inline CSS, so it's difficult to read and difficult to handle. So I was looking for something to be able to substitute this completely, and I found a fantastic app that makes creating landing pages and websites overall a lot more easier, and it gives you a decent control over the design of the website. And that one is called Webstudio. So Webstudio is an open source CSS front-end advanced visual builder, and it's just freaking fantastic. And what I'm gonna do in this video, I'm gonna be explaining how to use Tape as your content management system and Webstudio as the front end. So basically the Tape is gonna be your back end, Webstudio is gonna be your front end. So we're gonna be covering a few stuff in this video. In this itinerary, it's gonna be talking about a few stuff. So let's start talking about what Tape is and Webstudio. Okay, so let's go to start with Tape. So Tape is a place that you can create a powerful all-in-one workspaces that are fully customizable, not necessarily without much code or low code, and you can build automations. And of this, the all-in-one is exactly what Tape is. You can create anything on Tape. It is so flexible and so powerful that it gives you the ability to create anything. And one of the things that I love about Tape is definitely their team. Their team is amazing. These guys are good at what they do, and they have created an amazing platform that is flexible, powerful, and can do literally anything. It's one of the best tools I ever have. And then we're gonna go to Webstudio. Webstudio is an open source, full power CSS, like an advanced visual builder that allows you to connect this front end to any back end, which is what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be connecting Tape with Webstudio. And I'm gonna be showing you what Webstudio is, but one of the things that I also like about Webstudio is their amazing team. Their team is incredible. These guys are very passionate about this project. They're really making something really amazing here with Webstudio. So both on Tape and on Webstudio, you got amazing teams behind this app. So let me go back to our agenda here. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go set up Tape with a blog app. So let's do that now. So let me show you what that is. Let's go to Tape. And in here in Tape, Tape is basically organized into workspaces. So I'm gonna go here to the workspace testing, which is one that I use for test a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna create an app called blog. To create app, you simply click the plus, click blank app, and go from there. But let me show you what I put in this one. So in blog, if I go up here to the top right and I click customize fields, it will tell me that the fields that I added to this app. So since it's a blog app to house the post, I have the title, the description, the content, a URL slug. So this one, the URL slug, is very important because it's needed for Webstudio. The URL slug is the part that goes after the initial URL. So for example, portfoliowebs.com/my URL, and that's the slug. And then continuing on, we got the feature image, and below a couple of nice things that I added, which is OpenAI, so I can use the OpenAI to generate the blog post for me. So let's finish up with the status, which will tell me if the blog post is a draft or is published. So let's go and create a new blog post by clicking the new blog button here. And for now, I'm just gonna put the test as a title because I don't need to put anything else. And then I'm gonna go to the status. I'm gonna put it as draft. Then I'm gonna click save. And that created the blog, the record here on Tape. So now I need to generate the blog post. So let's do that with AI. So here, as you can see, it says an AI prompt. So what I'm gonna do, it's gonna prompt to write an article. So let's say write 250 word blog post about Siberian Huskies. Perfect. So now I click out, and then I'm gonna click the button that says here generate blog post. So when I click that, the custom code that I created is gonna go to the OpenAI API, and boom, generate that one in an instant. I got the title of the blog post, which will be the majestic Siberian Husky, a guide to this amazing breed, the description, and the content of the blog. And now, as you can see here, this was generated. One thing to note is that Tape does not have the AI built in, the OpenAI built in. I made that myself. I custom coded. So let me show you just as a quick parenthesis to see how it works. That's an automation. If I go here to the AI block, I see here that I have the configuration for the OpenAI. This is a script that needs to be in a certain format, and here's the code that makes the title, the description, and the content using OpenAI with the new GPT-4o mini, which is amazing. Okay, so now I got that, and I got the post. So now the next step is let's generate a feature image. So to do that, let's use the AI tool to generate the image. So I'm gonna click this button, generate feature image. So what this is gonna do is I think it's gonna use DALL-E, the image generator from OpenAI, and it's gonna use the title as a reference to create that image. So let's see what kind of image it gives us, and there we go. And it created the image. It's just gonna attach it directly into the post, and as you can see here, boom. Amazing image just with a few clicks of a button. Look, that one I like. Decent enough. Okay, so now I got the blog post ready, title, description, content, the feature image, and the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a URL slug, which will be the part that goes after the URL. So let's put majestic Siberian Huskies. And there's a reason that I put it caps like that, because I created an automation that automatically formats the URL slug to what it's supposed to be. So once I click out, the automation is gonna run, and boom, it removes all the all caps and organize the spaces into dashes, so it looks clean, the URL slug. So now the final step is I'm gonna publish this post. And there we go. And I'm gonna show you why I changed it to publish a little later. Okay, so now we're gonna go to, we set up the blog app. Now we're gonna go to step number 3, which is creating a Webstudio dynamic page. So let's go to Webstudio. So in Webstudio, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create a new project and take it from there. So for now, I created this one, which is called blog test. So I'm gonna go over there. And this is the part of Webstudio. There's absolutely nothing here right now, but what I'm gonna do, I need to create a dynamic page. So to do that, let me go over here and in the section that says pages, and over here, new page, I'm gonna create a page, I'm gonna call it post. And in here, if I scroll down to the dynamic pack, you see, I need to create a dynamic pack by including certain parameters in the name. So I'm gonna put slash 2 points and URL slug, just as an example, and boom. So now I created the dynamic URL, and I'm gonna click create page. So you know you did it correctly when the icon here looks like this. This is the dynamic page icon in Webstudio. Okay, so now that I have a page, I'm gonna go to the post, and I need to put something in here. So let's put some components here. Let me start by putting a box, which will gonna be the wrapper. And then I'm gonna go put it in 80 pixels. Oh, whoop. 80, I want pixels. There we go. And then let's put auto margin on the left, auto on the right. Let's put 50, 60 on top as the margin, and some padding of 50, just for good measure. Okay, so I now got the wrapper, and now inside the wrapper I need to add a few stuff. So I need the title, I need the content of the blog post, and the feature image. So let's do that. Let's do the components, let's do the heading, and let's do the image. And I'm gonna put the image before the heading. And finally, we're gonna be adding the content of the blog post. So for the blog post, we're gonna be using this one, which is called the content embed. And the content embed means that anything that is coming within HTML is gonna be formatted based on what I put here in these tags. I'm gonna show you what is that later, but for now we have the all set up and ready for the next step. Okay, so now we're gonna go to connecting Webstudio to Tape using the Tape's Developers API. So now we're gonna go to, let's go to here. So this is the Tape's Developers API. So for this one, we're gonna need something from Tape that is called the Retrieve Filter Records from an App. And you can find that over here on the Resources, Records, and on the right, you're gonna see Retrieve Filter Records from an App. So this is a post, and then this is the request that we need to send to the Webstudio. So to make things easier, I went to Tape, and on Tape, I created something that I call the variable generator. And if I go here, you see that I created a variable generator here. And in here, I can see exactly what I need for Webstudio. So for Webstudio, the method is gonna be the post, and these are the headers that I need, the base link, and the filters that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be filtered the status for the blog posts that are published, and it's going to search the slug for the slug that matches the current slug. It doesn't make sense, but you will see later. It's something from Webstudio. So now I need three things here. The app ID, and the fields ID, and my very own Tape API. You can find your Tape API by going over here to your profile, go to Preferences, API, and there it is. That's gonna be your own unique API. So let me go back to the variable generator, and then let me open this. So let me now get the app ID. So the app ID is gonna be the app that we just created called blog. So we're gonna go over here, go to variable, and we're gonna go developer. And in here you see the app ID, which is the one that we need. We're gonna copy it, go back to the variable generator. And in here, I'm gonna just replace this with the app ID. And we need to get the field ID for the status and the field ID for the URL slug. So let's do that real quick by going to here, going to developer, and we're gonna go, let's start with status. Gonna take this one from the field ID, go back to the variable generator, and in here, I'm gonna put this one. And then the last one is gonna be for the URL slug, which will be here. It's gonna be this one, and there we go. Variable generator, and it's gonna be this one. And the code will look like this. The reason you don't necessarily need to go back and forth like this, you can simply copy paste the code to a text editor. It makes it a lot faster, but I just wanted to show you where to get that information. So now the next step that we're gonna do is put this in Webstudio. Okay, so let's go to Webstudio, and in here we're gonna be creating something that Webstudio calls a variable. So the variable allows us to connect the API from Tape into Webstudio. So let's do that real quick by creating a variable, and we're gonna do it in the body. So you're gonna go to body, go to settings, and in here in the variables, you're gonna click the plus sign here, and it's gonna give you like a new variable option here. So let's name the variable post, and in here in type, you're gonna select resource, and in resource, we're gonna add everything that we just created in Tape. So let's go back to Tape, and Tape is gonna be here. I'm gonna take the base URL, go back here, put it here, and as for the method, it's gonna be post, and I'm gonna add two headers. So I'm gonna go here, let me add the the first header over here, which will be content type. Content type is going to be application JSON. It's on JSON. I'm going to go another header, which will be the authorization. And then it's going to be the API, which is going to be bearer. I'm going to just copy that one. Bearer, a space, and let me get my API key for, give me one moment. Let me get that real quick. My API key. I'm going to copy, going to paste, boom. And there we go. Bearer user key, and that's my user API. My tape API. So now we're gonna have to add the body, which will be way over here. Add the filters, which is this JSON. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna go back to Webstudio. And in here, you got two options. So the option to add this, you're gonna go click the purple one, purple button, and you're gonna go to the expression editor, and you're gonna paste it over here. And now I got the status field to publish and the URL slug to the value. So this value needs to change to the variables that Webstudio provides me, which will be system.params.URL slug. Perfect, and I got it. And then I'm gonna close this, and let me close this to create that variable post. See? Okay, so now what I need to do, I need to tell Webstudio which page should I search for. So for Webstudio, that is done over on the corner. So let me get the URL slug from tape, going over here, going to Webstudio, and up here, I'm gonna be adding that URL slug. There we go. And then when I go to posts and I refresh, you're gonna see down here that the value just changed to Majestic Siberian Huskies down here. That's the URL slug that is coming from the blog post. So now if I go over here and I click inspect, you will see that this is the data that's coming from tape. This is a gigantic JSON file. But what we're gonna do now is gonna bind that data that we have into the areas here. So let's start with the heading. So to do that, you're gonna go to the text content, you're gonna click the plus sign over here, and this will add the expression editor. And you're gonna select the variable that we just created, which should be post, then dot data dot records dot zero dot I think fields dot, and this fields here from 0 to 4. What this means is that in tape, if you go over here, let's go to the developer. So this is 0, title is 0, description is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, and so on. So let's go back to Webstudio, and then we're gonna go to 0, which is gonna be the title. As you can see, the label is title, values.0.value. And as you can see, boom, it changed to what it was on tape. And then we're gonna add the content by going to the content embed in here in the code. We're gonna delete all of this and do the same process. We're gonna click post data records dot 0, and then we're gonna do fields dot 1. This is 1? No, it's 2. 2 dot, there we go, content values dot 0 dot, and they're gonna select the one that says value. There we go, and select, boom, and I got my information here. And the last one is gonna be the image. In the image, I need to put the source of the image. I'm gonna go here, post dot data dot records dot records dot 0 dot fields, and you keep going. So this one is gonna be 5. Let me see. No, that's the AI prompt, so it's gonna be 4, I think. Here we go. Feature image values dot 0 dot value dot, and I'm gonna select the link. And when I unselect that, then you will see that the image is automatically imported from tape into Webstudio. Let me change the size to 250, just to make it smaller. And boom, we got all the information here from tape into Webstudio. And you see here that the content that is created from the blog post, I can actually change this on tape. So let's go back to tape to do that change. And I'm gonna go over here. And let's say that I want to add some information. So let me add a space here, another space here. I want this one to be in italics. I want this one underline. And I want this one in bold. And this one in bold, just as a reference. Boom. And there we go. Then I click out and I got some formatting. So I go back to Webstudio and then I'm gonna refresh this page. And all the changes that were made in tape appear here in Webstudio. So right now I have some liberty in how I can change the design of this. So let me go back to the wrapper, to the content embed, and in here, let me change the bolds to another color. Let's say I want the typography when it's bold to be red, and I see it changes over there. And I want the italics to be, I don't know, another size, see? And you have full control on how to change the content that is coming from tape. Okay, so that's basically how it works with tape. So now I'm gonna give you an example of a fully working content management system that I created for one of my websites. So let's go back to Webstudio and I'm gonna go to dashboard and then I open the Husky trainers. So in the case of the Husky trainer website, this is one of the websites that I have for as a hobby website for dog training, something that I enjoy on the side. This is my dog, Piña Colada. And in here you can see that I have the blog post with the feature image. And if I go to the post over here, it's gonna get the post for the best dog collar for poodlers, the martingale. And if I go to tape, I go to that workspace which is called HT blog, which stands for Husky Trainers blog. And in here you can see that's the blog post over here. But there's a slight difference here. The content that is here is in raw HTML. And the reason is because I wanted to add images. And right now in tape, you cannot add images if you don't put as a raw HTML. And that's a downside. But the way I set this block up is using another external API, which is called Neuron Writer. If I go way down here, I got this here, and Neuron Writer is basically an app that allows you to create good content for the search engines that rank. So let me show you how it looks just as a reference. So if I go here, so that blog post looks like this on Neuron Writer. So in Neuron Writer, the post that I created on the Husky Trainers blog is this one. So whatever I change here is going to be reflected back on tape over here. Jesus, I have such a mess. So if I refresh here, it's going to change the HTML here. But I wanted to show you the possibilities that you can have using the tape API by connecting different tools and have it in one place. So I have a fully powered system here for a content management system that allows me to create high-ranking blog posts. And then the blog post goes into Webstudio. Okay, so as I mentioned before, let me go to the tape's limitation as a content management system. So as you can see, you don't really have an HTML editor here. So that's a very big limitation on tape. So if you want certain flexibility, you need to put the raw HTML here and then try to edit it in another platform for now, like I do with Neuron Writer. You can also just create the document as an HTML and then import it here. And the reason for that is it gives you a lot more flexibility in Webstudio. So let's just make a conclusion here. And so having tape and Webstudio is a fantastic combination because it gives you a lot of flexibility. You can connect the tape API and send the data, beautiful data on Webstudio. And another thing is that when you use the built-in built-in tape links, they go to like tapeapp.com something. When you use Webstudio, it goes to your domain and your own URL. So that's something to consider. And I highly recommend that you're using Tape and Webstudio. And if you're a Tape power user, get Webstudio. My link is below. It's my own affiliate link, but get Webstudio because it will make your life so much easier. If you need any help setting up your Tape account, just let me know. I'm a Tape partner and I will be happy to set up the account so you can create almost anything you can imagine, like I did with the AI and the neural writer and stuff on. And if you need any help with the Webstudio, just let me know too. I might be able to help you too. So if you need any help, contact me at portfoliowebs.com or leave a message here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later, okay?